Defending Israel with David Harris is made possible in part by Barbara and Bob Goodkind, the Paul and Lynn Light Family Foundation, To Life, to Love, the Patricia Worthen Ullman Foundation.
Hello JBS viewers, I'm David Harris and welcome back to Defending Israel. This week we have another very special guest, Ofir Akunis. Some of you I'm sure know him, a longtime Israeli politician, a cabinet minister on several occasions, twice having served as Minister of Science and Technology, having served as Minister of Regional Cooperation and other august titles. And since last year, 2024, here in New York as the Consul General of the State of Israel. And I think, fun fact, it is the largest diplomatic representation of Israel anywhere in the world. Am I right in saying that, Ofir?
First of all, thank you for having me. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I'm very happy to be here. Yeah, I said last week that it's the mission of my life. And I will tell you why. I think that we are living in the most challenging times to the Jewish communities here in New York and in the United States, of course. And this is a very it's a complicated era to the Jewish communities around the world. I have to tell you, not only here in the United States, and to be honest, especially in Europe. And I suppose that we will talk about it in a few minutes. But it's a huge privilege and honor to be here and to actually, I'm the head of the largest embassy of Israel in the world. Right. This place, the Israeli consulate in New York.
So let me begin by asking you, because you've spent your adult life in politics.
Yeah.
This is your first diplomatic post.
Exactly.
What's the difference you found between being a politician and being a diplomat?
It's a very good question. You mentioned that I served twice as Minister of Science and Technology and Regional.
And that's where I first met you.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. Nachon, you're right. It's different, but it's not totally different. Why? First of all, to speak on behalf of the State of Israel, this is actually the same idea. Yeah, as a minister, as an ambassador as well, but without the domestic issues, without the political issues, and I cannot speak about my, my party. I signed as a Likud member in 1992. I was 19 years old then, very young, by the way, maybe one of the youngest who signed to be a Likud member then. But now, of course, that I froze my membership and I'm not dealing with the domestic issues. Even though I have to tell you something, it will not be a secret that from time to time, I want to say something, but I can't. Maybe it's for the, it's better.
You anticipated your job in New York. There's often a discrepancy between the anticipation of the job and the realization of the job. Mm-hmm. Since you've come to New York, and of course your jurisdiction is not just New York City, it's New York State and several other states as well.
It's Pennsylvania.
And Ohio.
It's Ohio, it's New Jersey.
And Delaware, I think.
Delaware as well. And now, until the new ambassador will start his mission in Miami, I'm also the Consul General in Florida as well.
So what surprised you about actually being here as an ambassador?
I will be very honest with you, with your permission. I know the city for something like, more than 30 years, from close. I came as Minister of Science, as an MK, Deputy Minister, as a tourist as well. Something happened there, I have to tell you. I think that it was like one of the American symbols, New York City. And now, unfortunately, and I was shocked, David, I was shocked. It was the first week here as an ambassador. And I saw protesters burning the American flag in front of Grand Central Station. Then they came very close, by the way,
Right.
nearby to the consulate. They waved the Hezbollah flag. Hezbollah, a terror organization, according to the
United States government.
Exactly, that's right. And they burned also there as well the American flag and the Israeli flag. Then a few weeks after, I remember that I took some colleagues to the Nova exhibition in front of Wall Street, actually stock exchange. And a few days after, we saw hundreds of protesters, hundreds, yelling and chanting. Next October 7, we're preparing the... What is it? This is not America that I know. I'm sorry to say that, but something happened.
Okay, so
And it's a big question.
So the Prime Minister's office, the Foreign Minister's office reaches out to Ofir Akunis and says, help us understand what happened. It's not enough to report what happened. We have to understand what happened.
I agree.
Can you share some answers?
I think that but it's not only here. I have to tell you that it's in Europe, London, one of my favorite cities around the world, in France as well. I visited in Marseille 10 years ago, and I saw that this is a part of the it's a worldwide changes, I have to tell you. People came here from various countries around the world, and it's okay, of course. It's part of our, it's part of the story. But I think that they came to the strongest democracies not to live with let's say, with the Americans or with the British people or with the French people. They came to replace them. And they want to, and by the way, I have to be honest with you, they are saying it. I heard the Imam in Brooklyn who said that they want the Sharia laws here as well in London. So they want to change the world. We don't want to change the world. We love our world. We prefer, and I suppose that you as well, the Western civilization and the democracies. And it doesn't matter. From time to time, it's Likud and Labor in Israel. Here it's Republican or Democrats. But we are sharing the same values. There are not.
And the same love of country.
Exactly. And I want to warn you as well. They are using the American democracy to ruin it, and they are using the British democracy to do the same. And they're honest to say it. They are saying it. So we need to think, all of us together, how to stop it.
And then you have this other phenomenon. Perhaps you'll comment on it. What we call the Red-Green Alliance. That you have those who come to this country not to celebrate it, but to change it, as you say, but who find kindred spirits in America. Graduates of some of our finest universities. I mean, you've seen people who don't have that same background, but who come together in this far left jihadist alliance. How do you interpret this odd connection?
Yeah, I will tell you. First of all, you asked me about the reports to Jerusalem. Yeah, you asked me about it. I think that I was maybe the first to report that the Qataris are involved in all these, protests and all the events around Columbia, UCLA, New York NYU, and the others. And I think that we didn't.
How did you determine that?
We didn't. All of us, by the way, all of us. None of us was saying it during these, I think, 25 or 30 years. They bought hotels, malls. Okay, this is part of the business. Okay, but they bought faculties as well, and they are paying money to these protesters. Where were we? By the way, all of us. And I asked this question, and I said in an interview to Israel Hayom, a podcast in Israel, I said, I'm talking about all the Israeli governments from, let's say, the year of 2000, all of us, including me. I have to tell you, I must be honest with you. When I served in, various ministries, and here as well, in the United States as well. And I will give you an example. I came to the basketball game between the Brooklyn Nets and Hapoel Yerushalayim, and they asked me to sit very close to the floor, and they said it was Qatar Airways. Everything is Qatari here. I think that they are very clever. They did from their side, they did well.
But then I have to ask you also very truthfully, Israel itself could, at least from the outside, couldn't seem to make up its mind about Qatar. On the one hand, Qatar was a partner for Israel in certain respects. It was given a central place in the negotiations since October the 7th.
You're right.
And I often wondered about these mixed signals coming from Israel at times. Qatar is part of the solution. No, Qatar is part of the problem.
Yeah.
No, it's both.
Good.
Which is it?
Both. Because I said a lot of times that the Qataris, when we negotiate, I said they're hosting the negotiation to free our hostages from the tunnels that they built. So I hope that it's, that I suppose that you understand me. I hope that our audience understand me. So they paid for the tunnels from the year of 2007. That was the first year when they actually started to pay for the Palestinians in Gaza, to Hamas actually.
But Ofir, I have to ask you, wasn't Israel in a way encouraging Qatar to get involved in Gaza?
I don't think that encouraging Qatar is the right word. I don't think that encouraged Qatar.
Then reframe
but never mind. No, it's a good question. What happened to us?
Yes.
What happened to all of us, by the way? And I'm talking about the Americans as well, Europeans and Israel. Qatar needs to decide if they want to be an ally of Hamas and the Islamic Brothers, or the Americans, the Europeans, Israel, and the Western world. And for now, they are in between.
And yet the messages that at least that I see from Washington, not to mention London and other capitals, is you don't have to make that choice, Qatar.
I think that they made. I think that they must have to.
I'm agreeing with you,
okay.
but from the point of view of Qatar, 1 second, President Biden elevated them to non-NATO major ally status, the same status that Australia, Japan, Israel have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
President Trump has showered praise on Qatar. So I'm guessing that from their point of view in Doha,
you're right.
They don't have to make the choice.
You're right.
If we're up to me, and I'd like your reaction, I'd be saying, because another part of your history is the Abraham Accords. You were Minister of Regional Cooperation during. Why is it not said by the United States and others, Qatar, make your choice? You join the Abraham Accords and you become part of the Circle of Peace?
It's a good question.
Or you stay out?
It's a good question.
Is that question being posed to Qatar?
I don't know. I don't think so. And I cannot, ask or suggest the American administrations, not only the current one.
I'm asking from Israel's point of view.
Okay, I think that I will say my point of view about it with your permission. I think that they must choose now. The Emirates already chose. Bahrainians chose. Egypt, Jordan, and Morocco before we signed peace treaties with them. I think that we need to put it on the table, and this is part of my mission. They asked me to talk for Israel. They asked me to the Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs. They asked me to reflect the truth. I think that I'm reflecting the truth now about Qatar. Now, you're right, but I can't force, not the Americans, not the British, not the others, to force my opinion or to force my point of view about Qatar. This is their policy, and I respect it.
But from Israel's point of view, presenting that choice and saying, Qatar, if you're sincere and serious, you should be the next. Everyone talks about Saudi Arabia and the Abraham Accords, and obviously, understandably.
And it's not only Saudi Arabia, I have to tell you.
No, and I understand. But why is the same choice not presented to Qatar, both publicly and privately?
It's not a question for me. You should ask for someone from the American administration or from the British administration.
But you would not object.
That's right, exactly. And I think that I am saying the truth, and I put the truth on the table, and this is the truth, that they must choose. I can't force foreign governments to
Of course not.
to lead their policy.
But in the same spirit, people often associate the current Turkish government with Qatar, the Muslim Brotherhood, and expanding influence and access. From your perspective, again, as an Israeli diplomat, how do you see Turkey today?
They can't be, it's impossible. The Turkish, heading by President Erdogan, they are doing anything that they can to destroy the state of Israel. They encourage the
destroy Israel, not simply
I think
criticize
so, yes.
or defame, but you're saying to destroy.
Under President Erdogan, of course. Of course, he talked about us like a Nazi regime. He said it. He used these words, and he is doing whatever he can to destroy the state of Israel as the homeland of the Jewish people. And it's not a secret, by the way. You can ask him. So how can they, be part of the solution if they are part of the problem? Who encouraged the flotilla? And by the way, that was only the first one. Yeah, the first flotilla, that was 2011.
I remember very well.
That's right, exactly.
That was the IHH from Turkey.
It's a terror organization.
Right.
So we are talking about terror organizations supported by Turkey, supported by the way, Qatar as well. What is Hamas? Hamas is a terror organization. They are the cruelest, I think, people on earth, if you can call them people. You saw the horrific short clips that they, by the way, they brought their cameras and they wanted in purpose that the whole world will see. It's a shame. It's a shame. I know what they did to our women in the Nova festival. I know what they did to whole families in the kibbutzim. I saw whole families they burned them. So we need that now that the Turkish will be part of the solution. How can they if they are part of the problem?
So but
not the others. I have to tell you, I want to be optimistic because you asked about Abraham Accord. So
you are optimistic about others.
I'm very optimistic, and I will tell you why. First of all, as you know and you mentioned, I served as the regional cooperation minister. By the way, the very first minister was Shimon Peres. So it was a huge honor, to be in his shoes, and others, by the way, as well. And I think that it was beautiful and very emotional to see the close relationship between Israel and Morocco. And I visited there, and we signed an agreement, and we cooperate and collaborate already with the Moroccans. We are doing it. Right. Okay, with the Emirates as well. You can see, I don't know if you know, by the way, the only, when United and Delta and American Airlines canceled their flights to Israel, the Emirates didn't.
I know.
It's unbelievable. I was in shock. I said to my team, wow, I can't believe it. And of course that I think that we need the others as well, and not only Saudi Arabia. I want to talk about Lebanon. I think that Lebanon, there is no territorial debate between Israel and Lebanon. Who ruined Lebanon? The Syrians. Then Yasser Arafat, then Hezbollah, actually the Iranians. Hezbollah, it's a nickname. It's an Iranian unit. Okay, they ruined this beautiful place. I will tell you a personal story. I'm married to Adi for 23 years. And I met her grandmother, it was, both of them. But her grandmother came from through Lebanon, from Syria, through Lebanon to the state of Israel as a new immigrant. And I remember her stories about Beirut, about the discotheques, about the bars.
The Paris of the Middle East.
Exactly. Yeah, the Paris, that's what she said. Wow, it's very emotional because I remember her stories. So she said, who ruined this place? Okay, first of all, the Syrian president, then the PLO chair, and then Hezbollah. So, and I cannot find even one reason that Lebanon will not be the next state to be part of the, there is one, excuse me. I will correct myself. The presence of Hezbollah.
That's the point.
That's it. That's the only thing, because
which means the long arm of Iran.
Exactly. And during my last visit to Israel, I traveled to the Western Galilee, not to the Upper Galilee, to the Western Galilee. And there's a beautiful town in the name of Naharia. It's something like 15 minutes from the border in Lebanon. But in between, I found the old railway, the old one, between Beirut, Haifa, then to Gaza, and to Cairo, Night Boat to Cairo, the famous song, yeah? And we can resume it, we can reopen it. There's no, from Beirut to Haifa, now it will be through Tel Aviv. It wasn't back then, but now through Tel Aviv and through Gaza as well. Only one condition. Hamas will not be there. There is no, one reason that Gaza will not be like the Emirates. Beautiful beaches, beautiful shore. They can build a port there, and we can, collaborate. We can cooperate between Beirut port, Haifa port, Ashdod port, and Gaza port, and then to El Arish and to Egypt. The only reason is that Hezbollah is still there, and they're still there. By the way, this is our, if you want to know, it's the next challenge. We'll talk about it in a minute if we still have time. And of course, the presence of Hamas in the Gaza Strip. Who ruined the Gaza Strip? Hamas, not Israel. Not Israel. Hamas invaded, they caught us by surprise, and now they need to pay the price. Hamas, not the Gazans. I want to, to
distinguish.
talk exactly. Even though I must be honest with you, there's a lot of Israelis that are saying, and some of the hostages, by the way, as well, that just released, that there's no difference between the whole,
because they ask, where were the righteous Gentiles that we saw in the Holocaust?
Exactly. It's a good question.
That risked their lives that we don't see in Gaza.
Even one.
But let me ask you, let me pull the camera back.
Yeah, please.
A moment of you.
Please.
To you, to me, to many of us, the moral dimension is so clear and so obvious. The distinction between Israel and Hamas, between Israel and Hezbollah, Israel and Iran. And yet, many would say that we've lost the narrative war in the public space, in social media, in media itself, on the campuses. To the extent that's true, what happened? What went wrong in your analysis?
I will tell you. First of all, I will always, and I continue to do it, to quote Golda Meir. Maybe one of your colleagues asked her, I think it was 1972, I don't remember, what about the Israeli information, or how we are saying in Hebrew, hasbara, the narrative. So she said then, it was before Yom Kippur, she said, I prefer to live than a good information or a good hasbara, as she said. And it was, 50-something years ago? Okay, so first of all, we prefer to live, then we'll have,
but can you have both?
No, I think.
Why must there be the choice between good hasbara and good life?
I totally agree with you.
So
what happened?
So what's needed?
You want to go back to the BDS, organizations and the Qataris. You talked about the campuses. You talked about the social media. Yeah, they are buying, the protesters. They are buying a lot of, actually it's fake. It's like, how do you call it in English? Fake.
The bots?
The bots, that's right. The bots, of course. They are buying it with a lot of money.
So fake accounts.
Fake accounns, that's right, exactly. That's the right word. And they are doing it. And there's unfortunately a lot of, there is actually a problem, because we cannot afford ourselves. We don't have the money, the budget as the state of Israel to use these bots and to buy, fake accounts. And they are doing it a lot. And of course, that we are trying to do it in, the old media as well. Even though I think that I heard few people who already said that it doesn't matter. Now you need only to speak to the next generation through the social media. I don't think that I think that you need to to speak and to give interviews to the old media as well, to meet the press, okay? Meet the press, not the program. To meet the press, really, meet the press, okay? Even though the press also, has been changed in the last few years. It's not only news anymore.
No, it's much. It's an
my
advocacy
opinion.
press.
Exactly.
It's an advocacy
It's
press.
my opinion. I don't care about the anchor opinion. I want to hear news. By the way, it's all around. It's here in Israel as well, and as far as I know, in Europe.
But the result has been the inversion of truth.
That's right.
And the glorification
Yes.
the glorification of a barbaric terrorist organization and its supporters against a democratic nation battling for both its safety and for peace.
Exactly. So that's what I
mean, that's
think,
what it should be.
I think that we are living, I have to tell you, in an upside down world.
That's the point.
I think that it's unbelievable, to hear from time to time decent anchors, or it used to be decent,
Right.
that actually report or quote Hamas lies. I want to talk about the last blood libel of the starvation in Gaza.
We only have a few minutes left.
Okay, so I want to
keep that in
talk-
mind. And I've
okay.
got one more question for you
Please.
before we wrap
Because
up.
that
Go
was
ahead.
that was the
go ahead.
example.
Go ahead.
That was a totally fake news. Blood libel, not only against the state of Israel. It was a blood libel like the old blood libel against the Jewish communities all around the world. And I came to an interview, by the way, when was it? The very first days of this blood libel. And he put me, and he was, by the way, one of the, not of the cruelest, interviewers. And he put me under pressure for 15 minutes. And he said, what? There's no starvation, but I know that there is. And there is starvation. And he repeated this lie time after time after time. And I said, no, there is no starvation in the Gaza Strip. You know the facts that we shipped millions of tons to Gaza every day, to Gaza City and to the Gaza Strip. So that was the last example. And I think that now a lot of people already understand that never was
and also
starvation in Gaza.
Since the Trump plan, there are many more TV cameras. Where is the starvation?
Exactly.
I mean, where are the signs? I mean,
it's a good question.
But we have time just for one more question. I really want to give you the opportunity to speak to the JBS audience, which is national, which is global. What's your message from Israel to diaspora Jewry in particular, and American Jewry? What do you hope? What do you want?
I want them to be proud. I want them to be strong. I want them to advocate Israel and the truth, and not to be, with your permission, the old weak Jews that used to say during the pogroms in Russia, maybe it's our fault. No, my friends, it's not your fault. We are proud Jews. We have a strong and beautiful democracy. And the state of Israel, it's the homeland of the Jewish people. This is your homeland. You can criticize the state of Israel from time to time. Okay, it's part of the democracy. But never, blame us. And never join the lies of our enemies. Never say, okay, I apologize for the starvation in the Gaza Strip. No. Never do it. Never apologize. Be strong. Be proud. And always remember that it's a long journey. It's a long journey. It's a very long journey. Maybe it's the longest. I don't know. Maybe India and China are, have a long journey like the Jewish people. Okay. So be proud. Be strong. And I want them to know that in an emergency times, a crisis, they will always have the beautiful homeland, the state of Israel. Thank you so much.
Ofir, thank you very much. Thank you.
I appreciate your time.
JBS viewers, you've just heard from Ambassador and Consul General Ofir Akunis with a very impassioned plea that we be strong, we be proud, we stand up for the truth, and we identify ourselves with Israel. On that note, may I say for both of us, Am Yisrael Chai. Thank you, JBS viewers, and see you again next week on Defending Israel.